Good evening, I'm Brendan Miller. Thank you for joining us. OPP and Fort Francis have laid murder charges against 53-year-old Joseph de Juarez of Fort Francis. A missing person report led to the discovery of the deceased 41-year-old Curtis Medicine of Rainy River First Nation on April 5th, inside of a residence on 5th Street West. De Juarez is charged with second-degree murder, indignity to a body, and failure to comply with a release order. Residents can expect a police presence in the area for the investigation, but there is no threat to public safety. The accused has been remanded into custody and will appear before a judge on Wednesday. There are some major items on the Thunder Bay City Council agenda tomorrow night. Council is expected to vote on a new representation system, which would drastically change the city's wards and the makeup of council. Last month's report by the Council Composition Committee recommended that council be reduced from 13 to 11 members with 1 mayor, 2 councillors elected at large, and 4 new larger wards with 2 councillors each. If approved, administration will have a short window to draw up a bylaw for council to ratify. Council will also be presented with a new location for the proposed temporary shelter village. Encampment Response Lead Riley Willinen says the property at 1111 Fort William Road is currently owned by the LRCA.
So we would be seeking to enter into a lease agreement with them. Their board has approved in principle, subject to final lease negotiations and their board's final approval. The site is really well aligned with our selection criteria. It's got a lot of space. It can accommodate up to 100 units. It is high readiness for construction, which is really important because we have been approved to receive $2.8 million in funding, and our full access to that funding is contingent on meeting some deadlines.
The other big item on the agenda is the fate of the James Whalen tugboat. City staff will be bringing back their original recommendation to scrap the entire vessel and award the tender to Marine Recycle Corporation for $579,000. The United States' Department of Commerce announced that it will be raising duties on Canadian softwood lumber from 14.5% to 34.5%. The announcement led to Thunder Bay Atikokan MPP Kevin Holland, who is also the Associate Minister of Forestry and Forest Products, to voice his displeasure with the decision. Holland stated the province is deeply disappointed with the drastic increase as the industry supports so many on both sides of the border. In fact, Ontario's forestry sector generated close to $37 billion of revenue in 2022, supporting more than 137,000 jobs. The president of the Thunder Bay Chamber of Commerce is outlining the business community's economic priorities for the federal election campaign. With many tariffs now being imposed by the United States, local businesses are looking for a united strategy by all politicians to reduce Canada's dependence on U.S. trade. Ryan Graham has more.
Chamber of Commerce President Charlotte Robinson is emphasizing the importance of local election candidates advocating for policies that will stimulate economic growth for Thunder Bay. Robinson says working with other provinces to remove unnecessary barriers will allow our country to experience economic growth during a trying time of crisis in regards to our relationship with the U.S. She believes streamlining approval processes will be a huge step in the right direction, allowing for a more resilient and brighter future for our country.
The number one thing is just think about what we need to do to grow jobs, to grow opportunities, and how can the government get out of the way and facilitate supports that help businesses to move forward. So keeping that in mind is what we're looking for. The number one strategy is we want parties to be focused on how can we make Canada, how can we make Thunder Bay businesses competitive, productive, and grow jobs and grow opportunity here in our region and across the country.
Robinson explains that streamlining approval processes for larger projects will be a huge step in the right direction, furthering Canada's independence from the United States. She feels this in turn will allow for a brighter, more resilient and prosperous future for our country.
one of the things that's come up a lot in the last couple of months is around the interprovincial trade barriers. And so really hunkering down with all of the provinces and territories, and let's make Canada one country. Right now it's almost like 13 different countries because there's different rules in every province and territory. So let's really focus on that, again, as a way to provide more opportunity for Canadians, more opportunity within our country so that we don't have to be quite so reliant on others.
Ryan Graham, TBT News.
4 student-led startup companies have graduated from Lakehead University's Ascend Accelerator program. Jaden Billick attended the formal ceremony to learn about what the students have created and what their plan is post-graduation.
The 6th cohort from the Ascend Accelerator program at LU went through a 10-week bootcamp-style program backed by the John Dobson Foundation, offering funding, mentorship, and weekly workshops to help students hit key growth milestones for the business startups. Manager of Ingenuity Allison McKay says these Lakehead students took on the program on top of their own studies, and their work paid off.
Over the last 10 weeks, my 4 businesses, one is from our Aurelia campus, went through a series of workshops really to try and define and work on their business idea, business plan, and get to the stages a little bit closer to launch. We have a couple that are ready to launch, but it's really just kind of going through the research and development, market, all of that, and getting to use a little bit of the funding to get what they need to get their business going.
Thomas Collins started Algol Research and Development, which is dedicated to transforming proven research into commercial products. His project on the go currently is an autonomous waterborne drone capable of surveying environments unsafe for human operators. He currently has drones in active gold mines around the region and shares his thoughts about the accelerator program.
So it was nice to be taken very seriously when we were actually doing it. There's somebody who's recognizing the legitimacy of the business. The mentorship was the most beneficial part. Having somebody that I could ask a million questions to and get a million patient answers back, and I feel like I really learned a lot about not just operating a business, but things to all the business adjacent things that I wouldn't have thought about otherwise.
Wenlong Yang has found success with his product TripPal, which helps parents reduce screen time while keeping the little ones distracted with content encouraging exploration and curiosity skill development during long travel and commutes. He says Ingenuity has been an asset when developing his product.
Oh, I actually would recommend this project to anyone who are interested in innovation ideas, who have some crazy ideas, want to develop some business from that, and you are all welcomed. This is like inclusive community, and you can learn a lot from the teachers, expertise, peer students. I think there's no risk at all, so come and join.
Anyone interested in taking the Ingenuity course can learn more about it on their website. Jaden Billick, TBT News.
A lively crowd filled the Marina Park's boat launch, braving the cold to cheer on the teams at the Polar Bear Plunge. The annual fundraising event once again exceeded expectations. Emma Chilton reports.
The Polar Bear Plunge made a splash once again this year, with over 150 teams and over 400 brave plungers diving into the icy lake, all in the name of charity. The event raises money for the Special Olympics, CNIB, Pro Kids, and Roots Community Food Center. Polar Bear Plunge organizing committee member Kira Butter says although they exceeded this year's funding goal, they would like to beat last year's too.
As of this morning, I think we're 130,000 goal pledged already. We had a goal of 75,000, so we've exceeded that. Last year we raised 150,000, and I'm sure we'll get to that total by the end of the day. Money's still coming in. We also have our major sponsor, PDR. They're lovely. They not just made us sure we could have a hole to plunge into, but they're also big financial donors, and they will definitely, if we need to get over that last little bit, they'll be there to support us as well.
Every 30 seconds, a team jumped into the lake for 2 hours. The cold plungers can be seen running out of the water to dry off and warm up as their supporters cheer them on. Teams were happy to tell us why they took this year's plunge.
We are DSW students. We are plunging in this year to make a positive impact on making a good impact on children with developmental disability. So it's our first time and we're excited.
Well, we want to do this for a lot of fun and for the cause. We're kind of on our mission for God, so we're here for that. And total raise is probably just over $5,000.
I've always been a big fan of Lake Superior, and I think it'd just be really fun to see what it's like in the winter.
The event was a huge success, smashing its fundraising goal while bringing the community together for an exciting and memorable time. Emma Chilton, TBT News.